This is a bench hook, and I have about 3 or 4 of these now, one at every bench and a couple of extra on my earlier workbenches, so a total of 4 maybe. And I use this extensively in my work. What this allows me to do is cross-cut pieces to length. If you set it up with a stop block, you can actually create uniform sized pieces. And what it does is it creates pieces, but with very fine finish at the end. So you almost need hardly any finishing. Maybe run it through a shooting board afterwards, which I'll show you. So you can set up, it's a base with a fence, and the fence has openings in it, curves at predetermined angles of 90 degrees or 45 degrees. And then if you flip it over, the reason there's 2 fences, one actually isn't a fence. They're both fences, but one serves as a cleat to hold it against the surface of the workbench. What this allows me to do is use the bench hook to cross-cut pieces of wood to length. Now, one of the issues with, and because you can flip it over and set this side up with different angles, so you have 90, 45, but you can easily set it up at 30 degrees or 60 degrees, whatever angle is convenient. And because they're so easy to make and quick to make, you can have multiples of these. This is a unique version that I created for an article in Woodworking, in a magazine a couple of years ago, and it has openings for dogs. And the reason I have that is because if you use a bench hook against on the surface of a workbench like I'm doing here, it's hard to keep it from rocking. Really have to do multiple things: hold the wood and against the fence, and hold the fence. And so to eliminate notice it's rocking. This is the piece I've just cut off, and it's very clean. You can there's actually a shine on the surface. Again, this is a very, very fine back saw that I tend to use with this, and you can see the kerf is a 32nd inch wide or something. And because it's a back saw, you're limited in the depth. Now this back saw, these fence heights are designed around this particular saw, and you can see the back saw, the folded back hits or doesn't actually hit the bottom. So that's important. If you're determining the height of the fence, you want to work with the tool or the saw you're going to use the most at that bench hook. You can always have a shorter fence, but I prefer taller fences, and I think this one's a little bit shorter. So these last a long time if you're careful with them. And what I've done here is I put a hardwood face, glued a hardwood face on the front. Now, going back to this design, what the dog holes do is allow me to lock it into place using a wooden dog. So this, again, it's all customized for your workbench, and that's the idea. So this keeps it from rocking. And that's my design, as far as I know. And if you flip it over, you get the same. So that prevents it from rocking. So if I'm cross-cutting a piece, okay, and I do offer plans for this. They're included in my woodworking course at woodskills.com, and a couple of other in that book, the design and making book. So if I'm cutting this. Cross-cutting this, I'll do it again. I didn't have to worry about holding the bench hook. I could just focus on keeping this little component, wood component, against the fence. So if I'm cross-cutting a 45-degree angle, similar. Try not to cut my fingers here. I think it's already a bit of a handful to hold a piece against the fence. So that's a 45. That's another piece of cut. So that's probably very accurate. We measure this. I use this to determine angles fairly often. So it's right, it's bang on, it's 45 degrees. So I use this quite a bit because I do a lot of small drawers and small compartments at 45 degrees on both the case side and the face side. So that's how a bench hook works. Now this is, again, that's the one I've designed with another one of my bench hooks. And this works with, again, the same concept, but it doesn't have the holes. And the fences are lower. So the reason I made this fence lower is to use a different saw for this side and on the cleat side. And I forget if that's the saw I use there. Use that too. So you can see this kerf is becoming a little worn. So this was my go-to bench hook for a long time until I progressed to this one. This works with this too. So let's just. Notice you have to keep it against the cane swung back. Again, that's the concept. For the work, so you can either have a closed. You can either cut within a closed kerf, or keep the kerf open and cut against the end. This allows you more versatility if you're doing it against the end. It's a little bit quicker too. They could do both, and again, set it up for angle work. So I would, if you're going to get an investor, work with handles. I can't recommend this highly enough. This is something you really need. So I have even smaller versions of these that work with really small components. I use this a lot.